Hey YouTube, this is Primetime Pokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and then giving away the Roaring Heat theme deck. This is one of 3 Sun and Moon theme decks that I'll be reviewing and giving away on YouTube. This one features Incineroar, one of the new Stage 2 starters. And something different with the Sun and Moon theme decks is that this theme deck was released 2 weeks before the official release date of Sun and Moon. Official release date is February 3rd, so this coming Friday. So I'm going to do a little bit shorter giveaway on this theme deck, and then the other 2 theme decks from Sun and Moon I'll be giving away in February and then March. But the latter half of this video I'll be stating the rules to entry for this giveaway. So this Incineroar theme deck is a fire and fighting type deck. Theme decks are $12.99 in stores. I got this from Walmart, so I saved a penny. But I will read the description on the back of the box here, show what you get on the inside, and then go through the deck list. And what I've been reading is that this deck is easily the best of the 3. We'll see if that is the case once I review the cards. So it says, your adventure in a new region starts now. Explode with the fiery power of Incineroar. Add fuel to the fire with a fast-burning, fast-punching team built of pure power and aggression. Throw it all into the fight with the Roaring Heat theme deck. And then in this box, you'll find a 60 Pokemon card deck, card checklist, metallic coin, 2-player playmat and rule sheet, 1 code card to play this deck online, a deck box, and then damage counters. And here you'll see all the cards on the inside. Of course, I already opened up this deck just so I could organize the cards in the deck box. So, here is the playmat and rule sheet, the damage counters, burn marker, etc. Here is the checklist for Sun and Moon. And I hope to be opening up Sun and Moon as soon as possible. Be giving away a booster box of Sun and Moon, and hope to open at least one Sun and Moon booster box on YouTube fairly soon. Thinking 2 this set. Here is a Litten coin. Then here's the online TCG code card. Won't give this away in this video. Whoever wins the giveaway will get it. Then here is the special holofoil of Incineroar. I believe there are 2 Incineroars in this deck. This one, of course, the holofoil form of it. So, I will set everything back here and get to reviewing the deck. And for the most part with theme decks, they're average overall. Really a good thing to learn the TCG with. Sort of a simple strategy with these theme decks. So, I'll start off with the fire type Pokemon. There is a 4-3-2 line of Litten, Torracat, and Incineroar. And again, I apologize. 7th generation Pokemon. I am new to that, just like everyone else is. So if I get some of the pronunciations wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I'll work on that for future videos. Have watched, I think to this point, there are 2 episodes out of Sun and Moon of the anime, so I've watched the episodes there, but of course, always room for improvement. So first card here is Litten. I like the HP on it, 70 HP, 2 moves, Bite and Flare. One does 10 damage, the second does 20 damage, so an excellent starter type Pokemon. Can attack the first turn, and if you can't get the evolution out Torracat right away, you can always use Flare the second turn, adding a second energy card. So 4 Litten, and then there is 3 Torracat, and stage 1 evolution here, average HP with 90, 2 moves on this one, Fury Swipes, does 20 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 3 coins, could use a Trick Coin Trainer card right there, or Flamethrower, does 90 damage for 3 energy cards, and it says to discard an energy from this Pokemon. Of course, you can use Burning Energy. You'd have to modify this deck a bit, but then you wouldn't have to add an additional energy card to this card once you discard it, because with that Burning Energy, you can always, once you discard it, you can reattach it right that same turn. So I like this card quite well. So the first line in this deck is looking good. And then Incineroar, Stage 2 Evolution, 160 HP. So a good HP. And its retreat cost is 3 colorless energy, which is about average for some Stage 2 cards. 2 moves on this one, so each of the evolution forms has 2 moves. Fire Fang does 30 damage for 2 energy cards, and it burns the defending Pokemon. And then Darkest Lariat does 100 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 2 coins. So up to 200 damage per turn. Again, a card you'll want to use the Trick Coin Trainer. That just gives you another shot at flipping a coin. So if you get a heads, and then you get a tails, you can flip again and potentially get 2 heads instead of just 1 heads. So a pretty good line overall. Incineroar can definitely do a ton of damage, but even Litten and Torracat can do a fair amount of damage and attack pretty quickly. So I like that line so far. Next up is Torkoal. I do like in the Sun and Moon set they didn't throw all just 7th generation Pokemon into the set. They mixed it up a little bit. So Torkoal, good basic Pokemon, 110 HP. Again, a little higher retreat cost, so you're going to want to either use a Pokemon's ability to retreat this card for free, or use some switch trainers. Singe is the first Pokemon's move. The first move on Torkoal, and it burns the defending Pokemon. And then Body Slam is the second move. For 2 energy cards, it does 50 damage and paralyzes the defending Pokemon if you get a heads when you flip a coin. So another card that has 2 moves on it, a good HP, and a solid move here with Body Slam. Could be used as a starter type Pokemon because you can burn the defending Pokemon the first turn, which essentially does damage every single turn. So I like Torkoal and I like Litten for basic Pokemon so far. Okay, next up we start with the fighting type, and really only 4 different fire type Pokemon from this set, and it's a majority of fighting type. And when I was separating this deck out, just the artwork on the cards, the fire and fighting type almost mixed together. They're similar in color. So the first line here, there is a 2-1 line of Sandygast and Palossand. And again, not the best with 7th generation Pokemon, so if there is a Stage 2 evolution, for example, I might not be familiar with it yet, just because I haven't done that much with Sun and Moon. So if you know there's a Stage 2, that's always a good way to modify a theme deck and make it even better. So I'll show the Sandygast and Palossand line. Sandygast, 80 HP, so a good HP for a basic Pokemon. And then there is 2 moves on this card, Shore Up and Sand Tomb. Shore Up says to attach a fighting type energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. And then Sand Tomb, for 3 energy cards, does 30 damage, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. So it may be important to make your opponent not able to retreat during their next turn, but it is a heavy attack cost for only 30 damage. You can quicken that up a little bit by Shore Up, but not too impressed with this card. We'll see what Palossand looks like if it's worth using this line in the deck. So a good HP for a Stage 1, 130. First card to have an ability, I'll get to that in a second. And then Absorb Vitality, 4 energy cards to attack. So a huge attack cost, just like Sandygast had. And it says, heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you do 50 damage with this move, you can heal 50 damage from Palossand, and you can make its 130 HP seem even higher. And then its ability, Wall of Sand. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. So really, once this card gets set up, once you get 4 energy cards on this card, it really can stay in the active Pokemon spot for a fairly long time because it has a high HP, and both its ability and its move help prevent damage. Again, a very high retreat cost, so you're going to want to use some switch trainers in this deck. Probably some double colorless energy too, to make Sandygast as well as Palossand's moves happen quicker. I'd say with almost any deck you build, you usually want to do 4 double colorless energy cards. So next up here, there is a 2-2 line of Roggenrola and Boldore. No Gigalith in this deck. You could always add one in. So Roggenrola, 70 HP. So there hasn't been a Pokemon card yet from this deck that has been below average HP. Only one move on this card. First card to not have 2 items in this area here, whether it be an ability or an attack. But Smackdown for 2 energy cards does 20 damage plus 50 more damage if your opponent's active Pokemon has a fighting type resistance. So up to 70 damage for 2 energy cards, take into effect a resistance where it could be a minus 20, so it essentially can do like 50 damage for 2 energy cards. Not a bad move, not a great starter type Pokemon, and again, you want to notice this high retreat cost. So there's Roggenrola, and then Boldore, 110 HP, so a good HP. 2 moves, Headbutt and Rock Hurl. Headbutt does 30 damage for 2 energy cards, and then Rock Hurl does 50 damage for 3 energy cards. And it says this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Again, a very high retreat cost, but 2 fairly quick moves, Headbutt and Rock Hurl. About average damage, a little below average damage, so not entirely impressed by this line. Again, you could look at a Gigalith card and see what those do. It may be worth including Gigalith here, setting up this entire line on the bench, and then moving it to the active Pokemon spot. So next up here is Passimian, and this one has 110 HP, so a very good HP, and 2 moves on here, so another card with 2 moves on it. Fling does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then Team Play does 30 more damage for each of your bench Passimian. So you could put 1 double colorless energy card on here, do 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each. In this case, it would just do 40 damage total because there are only 2 Passimian in this deck. But I like Fling quite well. Get this into the active Pokemon spot to start the game and attack those weak Pokemon on your opponent's bench that haven't been set up yet. Of course, the move really won't do anything if the first turn of the game your opponent doesn't have any bench Pokemon, but a good move overall, and I like this card, especially as a starter type Pokemon. And I thought I'd missed a card, and indeed I had. Crabrawler. There are 2 Crabrawlers in this deck. Again, a good HP for a basic Pokemon. 2 moves on here, Punch and Crab Hammer. Again, if you put 4 double colorless energy cards in this deck, Punch for 1 energy card does 20 damage, and 2 energy cards does 40 damage. So a solid, albeit a little slow, basic Pokemon. So next up here, there is Makuhita. 2 of these, and no Hariyama in here, so there's another place you could add an evolution form to make the deck a little bit better. So Makuhita, 2 of these, HP of 80, and then 2 moves, Surprise Attack does 20 damage. However, if you flip a coin and get a Tails, the move does nothing. And then Strength does 40 damage for 2 energy cards. This is a little bit more damage than the last couple of cards that we have looked at. Headbutt on Boldore and then Smackdown on Roggenrola. Both did less damage than the 40 that Strength does. So I like that quite well. Add a Trick Coin Trainer here, and you get a better shot at doing 20 damage. So again, I like the Pokemon in this deck in that they're good starting out, quick on the attack, and can do a fair amount of damage. So that's it for the fighting type Pokemon in this deck. Now there's a couple of colorless type. First one here, there is 1 Oranguru. This one does have an ability on it, but a good HP again for a basic. Psychic is its only move for 3 colorless energy cards. This does 60 damage plus 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So essentially you could keep this card on your bench, have your opponent move into something like a Mega EX that requires 3 or 4 energy cards to attack, and you move this in and it does 120 damage every single time. Hopefully can sustain 1 attack on it, since this card does have 120 for the HP. And then his ability, Instruct, says once during your turn you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. Now I don't know how often you'd only have one or two or no cards in your hand, but it is a good ability if you are low on cards, just to get some cards back into your hand. So another reason to set this card up on your bench. And then finally, there is a 2-1 line of Stuffle and Beware. And Stuffle, good HP again, 70 HP, only one move, Tackle. Another card you'll probably want a double colorless energy card on, otherwise it is slow on the attack. But again, 30 damage for only 2 energy cards. A fair amount of damage for that energy cost. Okay, final Pokemon in this deck is Beware. 130 HP, 2 moves on it, Bear Hug and Superpower. Bear Hug does 40 damage for 2 double colorless energy cards, and this move also makes your opponent's active Pokemon unable to retreat during their next turn. And then Superpower does 80 damage, and then it says you may decide to do 40 damage to Beware. If you do this, you may do 40 more damage, excuse me. If you do, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. So if you want to do 20 damage to Beware, you can do 40 more damage, or 120 total damage with Superpower. So a pretty powerful attacker, probably another card you want to set up on the bench. So that's really it for the Pokemon from this deck. Overall, I think they're fairly good. I like all of the Fire-type Pokemon quite well, especially the line of Litten, Torracat, and Incineroar. And then I like a mixture of the other cards. I like how quick they are on the attack, especially if you're using a Trick Coin Trainer and can get a Heads. More often than not, this deck can really do a lot of damage quite quickly. It can also inflict the burn condition on the defending Pokemon, and it can attack your opponent's bench Pokemon. So a solid group of Pokemon overall. So now I'll look at the trainer cards, and there are some new trainer cards with Sun and Moon. The first one being Big Malasada, and this one says heal 20 damage and remove a special condition from your active Pokemon. And with this deck, for example, Burn is a very popular special condition that is inflicted. So if you're facing somebody that does a lot of burn special conditions, this card would be very useful. It's better than a potion, and it's not a supporter, so you could use multiple of those every single turn. Next up is Energy Retrieval, just one of these. And it says to put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. I like that quite well, especially if you're attaching several energy cards to Palossand or Incineroar. 3 or 4 energy cards those cards require. If they get knocked out, this card can quickly retrieve some of those energy cards. And then there is a Lily Trainer. This is a supporter, just one of these, and it says draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. If it's your first turn, draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So useful that you can use it on your first turn right away and get 2 additional cards. So a pretty good supporter right there. Find it funny watching the anime. Lily, at least so far into the season, cannot touch Pokemon, more of a researcher. Next up here is a Nest Ball, first one to have multiples of in this deck, so 2 of these in the deck. It says to search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Very useful with this deck where there's not that many Stage 1 and Stage 2 cards, a lot of basic evolutions, so this card can really come in handy. 2 of those. And then 1 potion, similar to the Big Malasada card, except for this one heals 30 damage and doesn't remove a special condition, where that Big Malasada card removes a special condition and 20 damage. Next up here is a Professor Kukui, and it says to draw 2 cards. During this turn, your opponent's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. I think this will be a very popular supporter card in the future. Anytime you can increase your active Pokemon's attack, that always is in high demand, and a lot of people use that card. And then there's a Hau card, and it says to draw 3 cards. So you're seeing a little bit of that there, where you can draw a couple of cards, like that Professor Kukui, this Hau, the Lily, and then there is the Instruct ability on Oranguru that will allow you to draw cards as well. So 2 of those. And then there is 2 timer balls that says, flip 2 coins for each head, search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So the nest ball was better for the basics. Now this one is for the evolution forms. So I like that combination. And then there is 1 Ultra Ball, and it says, discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So ideally, you could discard 2 energy cards from your hand, get a Pokemon you want from your deck, and then use the energy retrieval to get those energy cards right back into your hand. So that is it for the trainers, and like most theme decks, a good variety of trainers and supporters. Really not anything out of the ordinary here. I do like a variety of ways of getting energy cards, getting basic Pokemon, and then getting stage 1 and 2 evolutions. So on to the energy cards. There are 11 fire and 9 fighting for 20 total. So there they all are. And a little different look to the energy cards in Sun and Moon. Of course, every single Sun and Moon booster pack, you get energy cards in. So overall, usually, in my opinion, theme decks are about 3 out of 5 or an average rating. I would give this one a 4 out of 5. It really doesn't have any glaring needs other than just a high retreat cost on a lot of the Pokemon, but the trainers are solid, the Pokemon are solid, and as far as the theme deck goes, I would recommend this one. And again, if you're a beginner into the TCG, I would highly recommend the online game. You can play that, and it's a little bit cheaper to get everything built up on there. But a good deck overall, and I would recommend this one. I'll have to compare this deck to the other 2 theme decks from this set in the coming months. So now on to the giveaway portion of this theme deck review and giveaway video. And all you have to do to be eligible for this theme deck giveaway is you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then in the comment section state which basic starter Pokemon from Sun and Moon is your favorite. So either Litten, Popplio, or Rowlet. Just state which one's your favorite and you are entered for this giveaway. And again, I am going to do a fairly short giveaway this time on this theme deck. So this Friday, the official release date of Sun and Moon, at approximately 7 p.m. Central Time, I will be private messaging a random winner from the comment section of this video. If you're not sure how to check your messages on YouTube, there'll be a link in the description of this video leading you to your inbox and allowing you to check your messages. So, good luck to everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions on this giveaway, feel free to message me or comment on this video. But complete rules to entry for this giveaway are in the description. So, thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, check out all the links in the description of this video. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.